Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I'm joined back by Jax again. Jax, welcome to the channel, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me back on the channel again.
It is my pleasure. We have not spoken to you since the infamous level 14 champions update. How you liking it, man?
It's pretty fun until somebody plays an Archer Queen at my bridge and takes my whole tower with the ability. Other than that, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well, maybe you are foreshadowing your list in today's video because we're going to rank an updated ranking of the most hated cards in the game as judged by a pro player. That's you, Jax. So do you want to... I'm glad you're liking the update. I am too, man. I'm having fun playing these champions. Do you think they should... Final question before we jump into the list. Do you think that they should add more champions? Should there be, like, you know, next year or 2 years, 10 champions in the game or more?
I think it'd be cool to expand on the rarity, but since it has abilities and it's such interesting mechanics, like... I've seen a lot of people complaining about how the champion cycle. Sometimes you only have to play one card after it dies to get to another one. And the Archer Queen is really broken and Skeleton King is a little underwhelming. I think they should spend a lot of time like balancing champions and getting them into a more healthy spot and then go ham adding them. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I think that my viewership is, at least from the comments that I read, they're probably kind of half and half. Some people are like, nah, no more champions, dude. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I'll take some more champions. I'm in the boat with you. I'd like some more champions in the future. Here we go, man. Let's jump into the 10 most hated cards as told by pro player Jax. Let's start out with number 10, man. Let's work our way to number 1.
So at number 10, I have the skeletons, and this one's a little bit of a personal
skeletons, Larry.
Feature. I hate skeletons, man.
Wow.
They just really annoy me because most of the decks that I play, a quick skeletons on some of the cards can get you +2, +3 trades pretty easily. The placement can be kind of difficult, but after a lot of practice, it's just like rinse and repeat. And I just get really angry seeing the skeletons kill like a bandit for no damage. I don't know, it's just a personal pet peeve of mine, and I just don't like them at all.
All right, man. I love you, but I respectfully disagree. Poor Larry's. What did they ever do to anybody? I've never heard somebody who hates skeletons, but maybe some of my viewers empathize with you. So, well, you know, all you skeleton haters, come out of the woodwork and let us know.
So at number 9, I have the balloon, and this one, I don't think I'm too biased with this one because sometimes it can be really frustrating to play really well and then have the balloon come and take half of your tower off of one drop, even after you've defended it perfectly 7 or 8 times. It's just one of those cards where the counters are really specific, and if you screw up even a little bit, your opponent can break through, and that breakthrough is like 1,500 or more damage with the balloon, and I just don't like how incredibly game-changing it is for just like a second on tower when it instantly drops.
You know what? I actually agree with you on this one. You're right. For all the reasons you said, balloon is so annoying. Like when it's that split second that you're like, it's not going to hit. It's not, it hit, you know?
At number 8, I have the Royal Recruits, and those guys get a lot of hate. And I'm part of the reason why, because I really don't like how you can just play them in the back, set up a massive push, but also defend and shut off both lanes. They're one of the most unpunishable cards in the game. Because normally if somebody plays like a 7 elixir card in the back, you can go like with a quick bandit, battle ram, whatever punish card you have opposite lane. But those 3 recruits are always going to be there to punish you, and then you have to pick one lane to defend. And if you commit too much, the other lane just gets like 1,600 damage done by them. They're really annoying. And that double lane,
and they require no skill, which again, like, not that I'm a high skill player, but it's got to be frustrating, especially as a higher skill player such as yourself, to be like, oh, wow, good job, bro. You tap the screen once, because that's all you do with the Royal Recruits, right? Like, there's no thought that really goes into it, pretty much, right?
From a player who enjoys tapping the screen twice at the bridge with like a battle ram and a bandit.
Fair enough, right?
Royal Recruits tapping the screen once. No bueno. Number 7, again, a little bit more of a personal pet peeve of mine, but I dislike the log. And this card is crazy. People are going to be like, what the heck, Jax?
What the heck, Jax?
I just don't like the log because you can have an entire push coming down, and that log can knock every single one of those cards back. And one of the worst interactions is with the battle ram. If the battle ram is low, you can log the battle ram back and hit the barbs, and it just really annoys me. And like getting my whole push reset. And sometimes that reset is long enough for them to scrounge out a defense they shouldn't have been able to manage. I just really dislike the log for those reasons.
Log is super powerful. I will give you that. Like, I feel like it's weird to say this, but it's almost underrated in a way. You know how good it is, the knockback and to your point, the range and everything that it can do. It's one of the most versatile, one of the better legendary cards in the game. That being said, you hate it. Do you, like, don't say yes to this, Jax. I'm trying to set you up here, but don't say yes. Do you think the log needs a nerf? It sounds like you were Okay. Okay. So you just hate it, but it doesn't need a nerf.
Just hate it.
I can agree with that.
Like people will be like, "Oh, why don't you hate Barbell? That dude's a log and it spawns out a troop, but it doesn't knock back and it can't get chip damage." And those are the reasons why I dislike the log more. Barbell, my P.E.K.K.A will smack. Log is just gonna push my P.E.K.K.A back to Antarctica or something. Number 6, I have the Tesla. The Tesla has just been, even with its most recent nerf, it's still just such an annoying card because its first attack speed is what really separates it from other buildings. It can pop up and attack cards before they can have a chance to attack it, even if it's ranged. And it also has the ability to go underground, and it's immune to all spells and attacks except for Earthquake, pretty much. And it just does so much damage with the ability to just hide as soon as it's done, and I really don't like it. I think it's very annoying.
This one, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is the first card you have on the list, and I'm like, yeah, when I see a Tesla, which is, I feel like every other freaking match that I play in this stupid game, I'm just kidding, but I'm getting like really raged up, man, by the Tesla. I'm like, oh God, Tesla. Because it's out of every defense, I won't lie though, even though it's not that powerful and it's not that popular, I kind of feel the same way sometimes against Bomb Tower too, oddly, right? Like, I'm just like, oh God, Bomb Tower, you know? So I think it's just defenses in general I'm not a big fan of, you know? But Tesla especially, because of how strong it is, totally empathize with your hatred on that card.
At number 5, I have the Electro Giant, and I think most people hate this card to a degree. It doesn't matter what you play. You probably have lost to the Electro Giant being stupid before, but some people probably put it a lot higher than this. But I put it at number 5 probably because I usually run decks that have decent counters to it. And once you kind of like learn how to defend it a little bit more and you get like, you know how to defend it with your decks, it's a little bit easier to defend than some other tanks like Golem just because of how easily kiteable it is. And it's hard to get a push going behind it because it doesn't do, I don't know, it just doesn't tank as well as like a Golem.
Okay, so I agree and disagree, right? I agree with the Electro Giant being on the list, dude. But I also like, even Electro Giant's one of those cards, dude, Jax, that like when I play it, sometimes I feel dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever feel like that with E-Giant or with any card like that? Like sometimes you just know that it's just like, you win a match or you take down a tower and you're like, yeah, there's absolutely nothing they could have done there at all. And that's what's so frustrating about Electro Giant. When you have the counters, to your point, sure, it's cool, right? But if you don't, with E-Giant, like nothing is worse than being like, oh, great, dude, I have like, you know, archers, scar me, goblin gang, and a fireball in hand to take my tower, you know? I can totally get the frustration, but I do agree with you that he's a super annoying card. I'd rather go against Golem any day personally than go against Electro Giant, but my hunch is my viewers will probably be split on that as well.
Number 4, I have the Archer Queen. And so she's a very new card. She's the newest one of the newest champions. But that ability, man, that ability is just absolutely insane. And I did a little bit of math yesterday, and at level 14 max level, she does 900 damage per second, which is hundreds more than a max level P.E.K.K.A. And she can literally kill a Valkyrie, a Bowler, a Prince, and almost both E-Barbs under that ability in 3.5 seconds in a push. And that's just absolutely insane. And if they play her at the bridge and you don't have a good response, then you kind of just have to let her lock onto the tower because she'll melt anything else you play on her. And she's already becoming one of my most hated, and I've only played her a handful of times so far.
Dude, absolutely 100%. By the way, shout out to Brandy for the pumpkin carvings here. I'm trying to show some clips on Twitter here because, oh, here it is. Zeraldo posted this. Guaranteed to make your opponent cry. Using her essentially as a tank. Do you see this clip? Like as a tank for your it's crazy.
It's making me very excited to max her out because I'm going to have a lot of fun just...
You're going to max her out right before they nerf her, Jax. I guarantee, man. Right? Guaranteed, right?
Yeah, that'll be what happens, but...
That will probably be what happens. But I agree with you, man. Like, first of all, I'm still in the phase early on where I like Archer Queen. I don't want them to nerf her. But I'm sure you ask me again in a week or two, maybe a month or so, I'll be like, yeah, I hate Archer Queen. So annoying. I hate her, you know?
She needs to go.
She needs to go.
Now we enter the top 3.
Top 3 most hated cards in the game is according to Jax. Here we go.
Mega Knight. This is a pretty popular one. I bet most people would put this card at number 1. He splashes down. He kills your whole push, and then you still have to defend him. Like,
yeah,
man, he's really strong. Even though I normally run a P.E.K.K.A, I still don't like him because he's just such a cheese card. You just can't push when he's there. Even if you have a P.E.K.K.A involved in the push, he's still going to smack everything before the P.E.K.K.A kills him. And,
I agree.
No Mega Knight. Don't like him. Even though P.E.K.K.A versus Mega Knight, don't like him.
You know what the thing about Mega Knight is, dude, is like you kind of touched on it there, but like he is a card where when you know your opponent has them in their deck or in their hands, it's just like he stalls the match, you know, because like, okay, great, I can't do anything at all. So I'll just cycle in the back like one lane at a time, because what else can you do? Apply a little bit of bridge pressure. Like, it depends on what deck you're playing, of course, but you're right. It doesn't make the game feel super fun. He's great when you have him on your side of the arena, right? But when you're going against him, for all the points that you outlined, I agree with you. It's just something about the dynamic of the card, the power of his defensive enter the arena ability in parlay with his offense. So yeah, totally agree. I think you put it really well, the frustration with Mega Knight. That being said, do you think he needs a nerf or a rework, or are you just like, he's just a card we're going to have to hate?
Well, unless they absolutely like kill him, he's just a card that we're gonna have to hate. He's other than like his defensive ability on offense, he's mainly just a really nice he's not the reason why offenses work, but like he's the reason why the things that are supposed to work. Like he can do the splash damage, eliminate some of the tankier troops, distract them for a while. I don't know. Like I don't know how you would nerf its defensive ability, maybe reduce its damage a little bit, but
you'd have to reduce his damage.
Maybe you can get rid of the knockback. Maybe you can get rid of his knockback on the defensive, like on the enter the arena ability.
Yeah.
And that might be able to fix him a little bit.
Yeah, so he still does a ton of damage, but like even when we're seeing here on the card preview, boom, he goes down. And you're right, it's that knockback that really keeps him alive, you know? Keeps him high health. Yeah.
The Royal Delivery used to have that, and it was super broken. It was nuking whole pushes and knocking them back. And then they got rid of the pushback, and it's now just a push nuker. It doesn't knock them back, but it's pretty healthy.
Absolutely. All right, so top 2, man. I don't know his top 10 right now. I'm going to guess it's this card and maybe this card, or this card and maybe, what do you guys think? He did mention this card earlier. This one. All right, so we've given our guesses, Jax. What is number 2?
It's that card. No, it's Expo. So
Expo! I didn't guess that, but I should have. Yeah.
Expo is honestly, like, this seems like it'd be a personal bias considering Expo usually counters bridge spam, but I see a lot of people hating on Expo, and I hate it myself. It's just, they play it defensively, and then they play that Tesla, and that lane, that whole map is locked down. And like you can't play anything even on your side because it's gonna start getting chipped down by the Expo. And then they cycle to another one, they put it on offense. Boom, it locks onto your tower for 3 seconds and it feels like it does 1100 damage. It's insane. The Expo is, you can see the passion. This video is going to make me rage, but the Expo, I just don't like it. It's so annoying.
Jax is getting to a real life legit depression over talking about Expo right now. He's like almost crying right now. I've never seen you so passionate, Jax. Bro, but I hear you, man. You put it very beautifully too. Very eloquent, man, my friend, because you're just like, dude, that's what it is. It's the defensive prowess of the building. You know, there's nothing worse than seeing them stack up an Expo and a Tesla and being like, yeah, checkmate, bro. Like, have fun cycling things and doing nothing and leaking elixir, especially going against a good Expo player, which I don't do very often, but I imagine you do. Like, that's going to be annoying, right?
I play against Best in A once every month or two, and I just, like, I almost close out of the game instantly. If, like, single elixir doesn't go well, I'm just like, have fun.
Yeah, peace out, bro. Peace out. All right, number 1 most hated card in the game. What do you got for us?
This is a card that I would consider this card like my second best archetype, and it's Elixir Golem.
Okay, we got one. Golem, yep.
Number 1 most hated card in the game. Like, yeah, it's not only the fact that it has so much HP and does so much damage, but it's the fact that it's so cheap to start off with. Like, it gives you 4 elixir, but what is that 4 elixir going to do after the fact you just had to try and defend an Elixir Golem, Battle Healer, Electro Dragon, and Night Witch, all in the first 30 seconds of the game. Like, it just is such a broken card that in that concept way, because you can make fully formed double elixir pushes right off the bat. Because if you play an Elixir Golem behind your king, you can throw a healer, E-Dragon, and another 4 elixir card all at the bridge. And by the time it gets to the bridge, you can have all of that down. And I don't know, those pushes are just insane. I've never seen a deck that can 3-crown so consistently off a first push.
Yeah.
It's just like
that rage too.
Win.
You rage up just blobs alone on the tower. You just rage him up and his tower down. You know, it's pretty insane. The weird thing is Elixir Golem does not have high win rates. Do you think that's because of the learning curve of people just being too aggressive with the card who are not very experienced with it?
Well, that and the fact that on its own, Elixir Golem literally is a 50-50 chance. Like, if your opponent has a building, you will probably lose. If they do not, you will probably win. If your opponent has a fireball, arrows, you are going to lose. If they don't, or lightning, for instance, that you're probably going to win. If they can't kill your E-Drag immediately, you're probably going to win. You can basically guess more than anything, more than any other deck. As soon as you see a few cards, you can probably guess, oh yeah, I'm just going to 3-crown him in 30 seconds, or, oh, I'm screwed. He's going to just beat me immediately.
Totally agree with you, Jax, on the Elixir Golem. I hate going against it. I use it sometimes as well, and it's really fun to play when that happens. But don't you even feel, at least maybe I'm the only weirdo who actually has this sort of like empathy for random Clash Royale people that I face, but don't you ever feel like you 3-crown somebody in a no-skill push, just to your point, when you play it, and then they just give up or something. They don't even BM. They just give up or whatever. You 3-crown them. Don't you almost feel, at least in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, they might have just quit Clash Royale forever. I might have like ruined their device. They might have thrown their device against the wall. Like, I almost really legitimately feel like bad about it. You know, like, oh yeah.
I don't normally feel bad about winning, but if I face somebody who just like Mega Knight bait, if I face a Mega Knight bait player, and like I can just see them attacking me, and slowly their attacks don't do anything, and they play a Mega Knight, and it just heals up my push, and the Mega Knight dies, and my push is at full HP. Like, I can just like, I'm sorry for sucking all the joy you may have gotten playing the game.
Sorry for ruining your whole day, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I feel like that, but most times I'll usually play Eagle against people who BM'd me before, because you know sometimes on the top ladder you can face people again. And at that point, I just celebrate. I'm smiling the whole time. But
what is the worst BM emote, man? Like, is there one BM emote that really, honestly, if anything's gonna trigger you, is there one emote that you're like, okay, bro, like, cool, you know, like you really get mad about it? I got
honestly, the thanks, like not even just the normal thank. If they just say thanks a couple times,
yeah,
I'm probably balling my fist right now. I have to put my phone down so I don't slam it into a wall or something. Like.
You know what mine is? You know, thanks. I agree with you on thanks. That's definitely the rudest of the words they have, right? But mine is this should be like a whole video in itself, right? The worst BMs you can do. But mine is, let me know if you guys want to see that, by the way. My most hated is probably, well, definitely, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I feel like I don't know, whatever. Like, I feel pathetic for this triggering me, but it's the barbarian picking his nose. It's like, oh, come on, bro. You know, like they'll smoke me and then they'll be like, pick nose, pick nose, pick nose. Maybe even the pick nose with a thanks combination. You're like, okay, have a great day.
Oh my.
Man. Jax, thanks so much for coming back on the channel, man. Always a pleasure having you on. Let us know what you want Jax to talk about or to rank in the next video. Make sure you follow Jax, his YouTube channel, his Twitter, his Twitch, anything that I can find on this guy, his player stats and profile. Link statsroyale.com will be in the show notes below. Also, Jax is doing or deck guides that appear here on the channel on Stats Royale. You guys can check that out as well. I'll put a link to that in the description below. We got GFUEL partnership, 10% off your order, your entire order, if you use code ASH. And a big shout out to Bren Chong. Jax, thanks again for coming on the channel, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Always fun.
No problem. Guys, thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you guys. Use code. Do you have a code, Jax?
I do not. We're getting closer.
Okay, we're very close. Use code, I don't know, Shane, for the next month or so. And then when Jax has the code, we can switch over to Jax. Jax, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ash.
All right, guys. As always, take care, guys.